Okay, now I'm going to give you 12 reasons why I think dads got to give back all their Father's Day gifts. I just think it's stupid that children give dads Father's Day gifts. Why? Because the kids, man, have been giving you so much their whole life. I think everything I learned about life really came from those kids of mine, and now they're like 30 years old, and they keep giving to me, man, since the day they were born. Okay, now here's some of the reasons why I think that. We should be giving them gifts for the rest of our lives, not having them give us gifts, And here's the number one reason. I think kids are the only thing in life that really turned out, at least for me, better than I thought it would be. Man, everything else by the time I got it in life, big deal. You work your butt off to try to make money. You work your butt off to try to be successful at something, and you finally get it, and you're happy for a day or two, but that's it. Boy, kids, when I heard about used to think about having kids, I used to put, there's good points and there's bad points and things like that. And man, and I'd say, when I ask people about having kids, they say, well, the good outweighs the bad. You mean there's bad in this and you did something when you knew there were bad? Man, I just think they're the greatest gift, in life, at least for me. And that's why I don't deserve a Father's Day gift. I should be giving gifts back to the kids. Okay. And also, I feel that the second point is that, we all work so hard to feel important in life. We want to affect other people's lives. We want to do a good job, and we want to be recognized, and we want somebody else to think we're important. Man, with kids, particularly when they're young, you are the most important thing in their life than anything else in the world. And you'll never be more important to anybody else again for the rest of your life as you are with young people. Man, I remember at the time I was doing talk shows. I get on the Today Show and all these big talk shows and everything. Man, if I don't show up on the Today Show, they'll get somebody else. I'm replaceable. It doesn't matter. But as a dad, for a young child, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, before they get friends and other things in life, man, you are the most important thing. Your wife could get another husband or whatever, but that kid can't get another dad. And there's nobody else more important in making you more important in the world to that one person than anybody else in life. So why would God, what a gift that is to feel so important. And that's what they give you. Okay. And also, I think what they do is teach you about love. I thought I knew about love and things, but boy, when you get a child and you could pour out so much love, that's what's important to me, is that, God, there's a place that you could pour love. Isn't it wonderful to love? That's why we love puppies and pets. We could pour it out and never worry about what's coming back. So that's why a young child, man, you could pour so much love. And that's what we're here to do, I think, is just love somebody else. Do something. You could do that with children. And where else can you do that? Sometimes with grown-ups, no matter how good your relationship is, they're always, everybody's walking around with a clipboard, judging each other. There's no judgment with a child, right? You just love as hard as you can. And that's the joy it is. And also, I think that, God, what they taught me was that how love is a renewable energy. It's not a zero-sum game. You only have so much love and you can only give so much. No, it's expansive. What the kids taught me is how, man, love could grow. I remember when we had 2 boys, and the first boy, I loved it so much. It was so neat and everything. Then when the second boy came out, I was worried if I could love the second boy as much as the first. How am I going to love him that hard? But you do. Yeah. It took a while because, when the first child, when all they do is burp and eat and poop, and that was cool on the first one. It wasn't so cool on the second one. so I would, until they got to be 6 months old or something, that, boy, they'd film our personality. And then the love just grows, man. It's just wonderful. Where else are you going to learn that? Is the outside world going to teach you that? No. And that's why these kids are so important. Why are they giving you gifts? You don't deserve it. They gave you so much already. And that's why it showed that how love is a renewable energy. The more you love, the more you you have love. Okay. Also, what I learned then with raising kids is that, God, the experts don't know. I mean, you get baby books and everything, and you could read 1,000 baby books. Do this when this happened. Do the X, Y, Z this happened. Do the opposite when things happen. Everybody has 1,000 reasons and 1,000 ways you should raise a kid or not raise a kid. Man, you go to the bookstores, if there's bookstores left anymore, and you'll see thousands of books on this stuff. That means there's all kinds of opinion. And what it is trusting your gut. If you trust your gut, not some other opinion. It's not their child. It's not their situation. They don't know all the ifs, ands, or buts. Everything is different. We're all unique people. And what we have to do is trust our own heart and our gut making the decisions, particularly about your kids, because you are the ultimate responsibility for them. And that's wonderful. And it taught me how to trust my gut more than anything else. I'm getting my list here because I don't want to forget something. Because one of the other things they taught me is how we're all hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. We say one thing and do the other, and you see this in yourself when you're raising kids. That's what's neat. So you learn so much with kids in your life. That's what, you can't go to school and learn this stuff. Only with kids. I mean, you want to get a PhD in life? Man, have kids. That's where you get a PhD in life, because they teach you. Like what they taught me. I remember once I had 2 boys. And they were fighting one day and hitting her. So I grabbed one kid and I came over here and I slapped him on the arm or something like that. I said, "Don't hit your brother." What am I doing? I'm hitting this kid, telling him not to hit the brother. What a hypocrite. I was stupid. It's neat. They show you how stupid you really are. And we all need that to show how stupid we are. And another neat thing, actually, if you're keeping score, we're on number 7. They teach you how to treat yourself. See, sometimes I think we're out there and we beat ourselves up so much. We're trying to get something, and we don't get it. We work so hard and we fail, right? We don't get it, and we beat ourselves up. We think we're miserable. We're never going to, be able to make $1 again, and we're going to be, on Skid Row, and we're worthless and all this kind of stuff. And then I used to think, God, if my young boy, say, 7, 8 years old in first, second grade or whatever, came home from school and he said he was last in the race. Now, would I say, "Oh, you slow son of a bitch, why didn't you run faster, huh?" And I beat that kid up because he didn't win the race? No. All you want to know, hey, did you try as hard as you can? And yes, okay, well then let's work on what we could do different for the next time. But we don't treat ourselves that way, right? But we treat ourselves miserably. We yell at ourselves and think we're stupid, and we would never do that to a child who tried so hard, right? But we do it to ourselves. So that's what it did for me, is help me remember how to treat myself. Hey, we tried, and maybe we're just not born to run like some other kids are, and we should choose another game. The other thing I learned too, that we're on number 8, is that, God, just attention solves more things that are wrong than anything else. Like I used to see my kids and I'd want to make them do things or whatever, and you just can't yell at a kid to do something. If you sit next to a kid while he does something, and help them do something, they do it. We all want attention, and that's what it is. It's, whether it's eating broccoli or studying math or whatever, sit down next to them and help them work through that project. Getting dad's attention is, man, they'll do anything, and that's what really in life is the same way. We all want attention, and if we get that attention, then we'll do things that are usually even not comfortable to us. So if you have employees or people work for you or with you, or comrades in your work, that's the way to treat people. You show people proper attention, and just don't yell at them to do something. God, I mean, that's why children, they don't have to give parents gifts. Parents should be giving gifts to their children forever. Let's see. Okay. Also, I see as the children get older, my boys are like 30 years old, plus or minus now, and God, they teach you about the future. See, I'm an old guy now, 72 years old, man. I don't know how to live in the current world yet, you know. I have to learn all over again. I knew how to live in the world 20, 30 years ago, and that's when I was growing up and finding. But now I got 20, 30 more years left. Well, my boys who are 30 years old are still trying to figure out the world the way it is now. See, just like me, I want to work for 20, 30 more years, and I got to figure out what the world is now, you know. And so, but see, I have a handicap. They don't have a handicap. I have the handicap because I had something that worked 20 years ago, but that doesn't work anymore. So I'm dragging this thing along, trying to force it in the modern day society, and it don't work anymore. See, so that's really baggage. That's a handicap that I'm playing with. See, people are young now, so when your children grow up, you know, you could use them as scouts. Hey, what's going on? Because they don't have any luggage. They're not trying to make some old stuff work. Okay? You say that's wrong because it used to work this way. Well, used to doesn't work anymore. You know, and so they're just looking forward. They're looking for opportunities out there. You know, and that's all they're looking ahead and grabbing opportunities, not trying to drag something old and force them into the new stuff. It won't work. So that's why they're so important, at least in my life. You know, and if you want to contribute forever, that's what kids will help you do. They'll help you find what's going on in life and teach you about that stuff. You know, that's why I'm so glad I'm still close to my boys, because they teach me those kinds of things. Okay, another thing I think you learn with kids that you can't learn anywhere else is that, man, you got to do more and professionally and not just work for money. You know, when I first had a kid, I thought, oh gosh, I better have more money so I can buy a better house and a bigger car and have all these nice things. And then I found myself in work making decisions just based on money, nothing else. And I caught myself doing that. And I said, gosh, you know, and when I make these kind of decisions based on money, I wasn't, you know, happy doing that kind of work, you know, and so I'd come home, you know, and not be happy there because I was doing stuff all day that I was miserable at, you know, and then I was one of those dads that would come home and then people, the family would say, shh, Dad had a bad day at work, be careful. And that's lousy, and I didn't want to be one of those kind of dads, man. And then when Dad come home, they're afraid, and they didn't want Dad to come home because they're having more fun without Dad home. I want the kids to have fun when I come home. So, you know, how do I stay joyful? And it's really by doing things that I really wanted to do, and not just for money. Sure, I had to be responsible and things like that, but not only, you know, and that's where you lead sometimes. And that's why kids, to me, are able to stop you doing that. Man, if you're not bringing joy to the home, that's not being a great dad or a great person to anybody else in your life, too. And that's how you become lovable, because if you're happy about what you're doing, then they could love you more, right? And you could share that love more, and other people in your life could love you more. That's what's so neat about doing the things that you really think are important. And sure, you have those responsibilities to get paid. You have to cover that, too. You know, but be careful how much you're just doing it for the money. Another thing is leading by example. I mean, kids teach you that because you know, you can't tell anybody what to do. You can't even tell your own kids what to do sometimes. Sure, they do it, so they're kicking and screaming, but you turn their back and, you know, or your back, and they're not going to do it, you know. And the world is like that too. You can't tell other people what to do, you know. You got to lead by example. I mean, if you're telling your kids how to eat or whatever, something like that, and you're sitting there with a big pot belly, you know, that's not good. You're telling them to exercise or whatever, and the last time you exercised was, you know, going to the refrigerator or something like that. Man, that's not getting people to live a certain way. If you're not doing it by example, you know, that's the only true way to really get people to do or change their lives or something like that. And that's why we love yelling at people, like other people in our lives or other people we don't even know, and yelling at them what to do. And man, if you're not doing it, you got to lead by example. That's the only way to really get people to change anything or to show that you really believe in it, because everything that we do is really difficult. It's difficult to live a good life, and we all struggle trying to do it. So the best way to show, you know, people how to do it is by example. And that's, here's the best thing about all this, I think, is that kids teach you the most important thing in life that we have to keep learning and relearning every day almost, because life is changing for all of us, whether you're a kid or you're a grown-up. Life changes around you, and you have to change because of it and do something. And kids teach you about that. because they're going through life the first time. And they're seeing that how life, anytime you're doing anything, you have to go through a lot of failure before you figure out how to do it. So us as older people going into new jobs or new occupations or new things we have to do in life, the old thing's not working anymore, we have to learn. We think because we've had success in our life now because we're older, we want to take, the next day we'll do something else and be successful. And that's not going to happen. You have to fall on your butt 100 times to do anything that's new to you. And that's what kids taught me. Man, a 1-year-old kid learns to walk. What does he do? He crawls over to the coffee table and stands up and shakes his little legs and falls on his butt, right? And he's got to do that 100 times before he learns how. Now just think, well, you're going to fail, so don't do that. No, if you want to really do something new in life, you have to fail, like that kid trying to walk the first time. Now just think if you told that kid trying to walk the first time, he's going to fail. Well, then you'd be pushing him around in a wheelchair, for the rest of his life. And the same with us. Anytime we do something new, there's something as we get older, we think that, we'll just do it once, or, next week I'll be a millionaire. This will how it's happened. No, you have to struggle and fail and pick yourself up again and keep going and things like that. And that's why it's desire. I mean, that kid wants to walk more than anything else. So that's why he'll fail. Keep picking himself up. So when we want to do anything new in life, we have to want that real badly. So we fail and pick ourselves up and keep charging ahead no matter how long it takes. If it's 100 times, 200 times, whatever. And we seem to forget all those things, as we become adults. And that's why you see your 1-year-old fail like that, because they want to do it. That's how to do things in life and keep doing them forever. That's why kids, man, dads don't deserve gifts. It's the kids that deserve gifts on Father's Day, because it's so neat being a father and having kids. Man, they teach you more than any PhD from the best university in the world could do, as they teach you about life, what life really is. Now, it's very easy to get trapped in a job that you're really not happy with. That you're there for the money you have to do, or you have responsibilities, or I don't know, your parents thought this is the best thing for you to study, and you wound up doing it, but it's not somehow in your soul. But it's like good enough. And you don't have any really big problems, but you're not growing inside. And that's being suppressed. And then I think, particularly when it gets to the point where, it just hurts some days to be there, and you just can't wait to get out of there. At the end of the day, that I think it has, biological problems inside. It has to. Your whole body is a one system thing, and parts of it's wrong, it'll screw up the other parts, And then you become cranky, and you come home and you're not happy. And people can't love you as well because you're not happy. But sometimes there's other reasons that it's hard to explain why you feel stuck there, and you can't, because you don't know where to go. And that's another reason people get stuck, and because they don't have the best idea yet, or not going to make as much money, and they have to disrupt everything, and God, it still eats away. Well, I think one way to get rid of that pain is to get hope. If you have a hope, then there's something that brings joy to your life. That brings something a little more to the table every day, because you have something you're excited about. And one way to do that is starting a project on the side. And this is a video. Watch this video, because this is a dentist. Not a dentist, a pharmacist. Actually, I talked to a dentist doing the same thing recently. A pharmacist. So, you think the guy making good money and all this kind of, but it's not his soul or wants to be. So he's on the side now, getting money in the internet through crowdfunding to start his kitchen gadget business, right? So instead of solving drug problems or whatever, passing out drugs, being a drug salesman, he wanted to do something like this, really improve people's lives in the kitchen. cute little gadget. It makes, artwork out of fruits and vegetables and everything with nothing powered by anything except your hand. Just some nice little things, hand that makes this beautiful design stuff. And he's going gangbusters on the internet selling this thing before he even makes it. So you get money ahead of time. So now you could, work on something like this part-time in your garage or whatever, while you have your normal job that is really not the best thing you want to do. And then work on this and then see if people are going to buy it. Because see, if you just build one, have one made and show a picture of what it does, then you go out and get money to have 1,000 made or 10,000 made or whatever. And that's all you have, the investment is just getting that one to show people how it works. And then you get money from customers who will buy it when you finish manufacturing. That way it cuts the process short. You find out instantly if it's a success or not, so you can get on with something else. And it's only now in our world, with the internet and everything, are things like this available to us. So you don't have to suffer in that mediocre job, because I think that's wasting your life. And I know that's difficult, whatever, but and you still need the money, you can't do it. So that's why do something part-time. So you have that hope, and that will bring joy. I don't know what I'm talking about. That will bring joy to the rest of your life, because you have something hopeful to work on every day, even if you can't wait to get home from work to go to work on your real thing that you really want to do. So watch how he does this. Senhal. I killed him. Patel. But it's actually, this spirulina, I think, is a wonderful kitchen gadget. But it's not a gadget. It makes beauty in your kitchen, from fruits and vegetables and everything that you can do. But the gadget itself looks like a work of art for your kitchen. I don't know how you guys figured out how to make a kitchen gadget as a work of art, but you've done it. And it really takes like carrots, or you make a spaghetti or whatever, and it makes that spiral staircase things that you could use, French fries and all these kinds of things that look delightful. And by the way, your video on Kickstarter makes you want to eat everything in that video. It's not fair to have it not real.
It's going to be real very soon.
Yeah, but it's a kitchen gadget, that everybody needs in their kitchen. They want to make their food look tastier, nicer, and fun, and it's fun to use, and it doesn't take electricity or anything. It's just your hand, your little gadget you threw it, and I think it's like $20 or something on Kickstarter now, at a fraction of the price it will be when you guys start making this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how did a guy who's studying pharmacy become a kitchen gadget guru?
Well, it's just having a vision to realize something. So we came up with a few ideas on how to improve your kitchen life, I would say. And the first one, the Rouncer, we thought that is going to do really well. It cuts and dices, and it deals with everything. And then the partner for the Rouncer is the Spirulina, which is the product in question.
So these are two gadgets.
They're two gadgets. I would call them sisters.
Right.
Because the containers can be used between each.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so we would like to think of the Spirulina as something more of a garnishing kind of appliance. The other one does a hardcore cutting and the squares and name it, whatever kind of cut you want, it does it for you.
But the Spirulina now is on Kickstarter as a deal, and the other one is the sale is sort of over, and you'll be getting it regular price, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And they'll be available probably in about a month or two or so, that you'll have these, because still you're raising, foundation money, to get these things. But you already made your goal. Man, you have 2 weeks left and you made your goal, so it's on the way. Everybody knows you're going to do it. They don't have to worry about you not making it, because you've made it already. Yeah, that's fine. But I can't get over. It really is. I don't know if it takes somebody. Not in America. We're so clumsy with design and stuff like that here in America, that you to make something so elegant, and it's fun looking. I mean, beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of words for beauty, but I mean, to me, this is like attractive fun. I mean, bright colors, and you
We
just
dedicate a lot of time on how the products look in the end and what we would like them to be, especially the packaging as well. We try to be very careful and make sure it's appealing. Not only the product has to work.
appealing. Is that what? Appealing. That was a bad pun.
No, we try and make it look good. You want to buy something that is in tip-top condition from the box to the product itself.
Right. So that's it. No, the box is attractive. So I guess this will be in retail outlets around the world. And if you go now to and on your campaign, you could get it. It's almost 50% off. It's like $20 and you got this $21 and you're in on it. Right. And when it gets out, it'll be like $40 in retail.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's the whole idea of Kickstarter. We're offering the public a way to get it cheaper than what it's going to be. And, we get to access those funds earlier as well to help us realize the goal. And that's how it works. And we're absolutely loving it. And the public are loving it as well, which is even more brilliant.
Well, your rounder, though, your earlier project made $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or something on Kickstarter, and so you guys are really good at this already, and making it. But I mean, I think when I see this too, because I mean I don't hang around the kitchen much, that it's a great gift. I mean it's one of those things that everybody needs. Everybody would like something like this. It doesn't break your bank doing it. And so you get one or two of these things to have around the house when you need a gift. You're going to someone for dinner, and instead of this is cheaper than a good bottle of wine, and you take this and they can really use it.
The good thing is Walmart are interested, so it should be readily available for everyone.
Wow, no kidding. Walmart's interested. Oh, that's really saying something. Wow, that's amazing. So here are two guys studying pharmacy. Your brother's a pharmacist too. He's in business with you, right? And you're into kitchen products on the side, or I don't know sure which is the side and which is the front burner and which is the side burner. But you guys are just industrious as hell, creative as all heck, and you got wonderful products. And you're stopping. I mean, reading your bio, you say you have another dozen that you just can't wait to get to, that you're going to come out with this year.
We have quite a few ideas and things we would like to realize, but, baby steps. We do one, finish that, and then move on to the next. Yeah.
Well, you'll change your mind by the time you get there. Well, that's terrific. Well, you're a delight, and the spirulina. So it's like ballerina, but spirulina. And it actually reminds me of ballerina because that stuff comes out of there as you're twisting it, like somebody doing the ballerina and things like that. And then your rounder.
Work, not just put it in a blender and push the button.
Yeah. No, that's it. We all need exercise, so we should get exercise while we're making our great food instead of paying the utility company to do this. Right?
One way of looking at it. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll all be talking about the spirulina because you'll be in Walmart and all these places, and it's a fun to talk with you and give my best to your brother, your girlfriend's in the business, your brother's wife's in the business. It's a real family business.
No, will do. Thank you a lot for your time as well. And, if you have any other questions, just let me know. And
you bet. Will do. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, now here's a way everybody in your community can make a bunch of extra money. You, your neighbors, and everybody around you. And it's really all part of the share economy. This is where it's going, and it's just happened, a few years ago, and it's taken off. And then more and more of us are going to live this way. So the things we need, we'll be able to share better because people are making it easy with websites. There's websites where all this is available to do, and you see that Joe down the street has an extra camera that you could use this afternoon, and it's easy for him, and he just makes a few bucks and some extra money because he's not using it, or even his car. So you don't have to have your own car. You need lawn furniture, extra lawn furniture for a party or something. You don't have to go to rental people who charge outrageous prices. Your neighbor will have it on a website that you could use just for 20 bucks or whatever. So everybody wins, and we're not buying more crap we don't need and shoving things down our basement and getting bigger houses to keep all this stuff that we thought we needed. We needed it once, and that's it. And it's just a waste of effort, waste of energy, a waste of money. And the stuff you have, you could make extra money on it too. Now, what's better than that? You're sharing resources. So, we don't have to, screw the whole world of resources because we only use it once. This is a way to share it, and that's why it's called the sharing economy. And believe me, there's a whole new industry that's happening out there. All kinds of things you could share. In your apartments, and we make a whole bunch of money just on an apartment we don't use that much, and we put it on one of these shared economy websites, and we're making more money. It's just falling in our laps. I had no idea about that. People do that with their cars too. You have a boat, you have golf clubs, anything like this that you just use periodically. And then see, from a person, it makes it easier to go to a website and borrow things for a little bit of money because you don't have to ask, hey Joe, I know you don't use your boat, can I use it? It's a little embarrassing to ask people about using their stuff, and that way that embarrassment factor is gone. That's what's so neat about the website. So many people think that the internet is making us less personal. Well, I think it's making us more personal, because now, if I have this said, yes, you give me a few dollars when I'm not using it, I don't mind. So that's out in the open now. So you could call me and be happy to give it to you and whatever. Otherwise, you didn't know, and you'd have to walk up to my door and, hey, man, I see you had that, those golf clubs you probably hardly use. I got to go out and play today, and I don't want to rent or buy. Sure. And that's it. So that's how you get to know people better that way. And then when I use those golf clubs or whatever, I'm going to respect them more because they're sort of like a friend, somebody in the neighborhood. If I go to some rental people or whatever, I don't respect a company, right? Like when you trash a rent-a-car, but if I borrow Joe's car up the street, I'm not going to trash it. So that's why I think the internet is really going to make us more friendly of a community and not more remote. Like people think because our face is always in the phone. No, it'll bring people together more. So watch this interview, this new organization that has one of these sites that you could use and start making extra money too. Noah Shaw! Now, I've seen you somewhere before. There's a few, but you have one of the coolest websites, Noah, that's just starting, trying to get people involved in their community to share products and make money on their stuff they're not using. And your website is rent-able, able.com, and it's just in beta testing. But now you're opening up for people to be part of the beta test, aren't you? So you can go to that website and just put rent, R-E-N-T-A, beta, B-E-T-A, and you could put your stuff on there, start making money, tell other people in your neighborhood how they could share and be connected with each other, and do it in a, what was that word you said? It's in a non-embarrassing manner to.
Yeah. Takes the awkwardness out of asking to borrow somebody's stuff, especially if you don't necessarily know that person very well.
Right. But it's all kinds of stuff. Like a sewing machine you only need once to make costumes for your kid, right? Or a dog cat. A ladder. You want to get up the paint the second floor of your house, and you don't want to buy a ladder. You can just rent it from somebody. So clothes, furniture, camera equipment, almost anything. But the most important thing of all this is that it's a community. You're bringing a community together to share within. You're not, renting this from somewhere in Alabama or something like that, or from, some big company, who has a store. It's right in your neighbors who want to help, and you're bringing the community. So this is a way the internet is bringing communities together, knowing your neighbors, helping your neighbors, and making a few bucks too, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Communities so together.
absolutely. So anybody go to rent-able.com and put in the magic word rent a beta, BETA. You got to know how to spell to use this thing. Remember?
Yes, rent a beta and be one of the first people to listen.
Absolutely. And it's going to grow. Everybody's going to know about you because everybody wants to know their neighbor, and they can know it through you. Thank you so much, Noah. Fun to have you there. Take care.
Thanks.
Your stuff is important, and having a young person like you, put their heart into something that you see a greater good. I mean, it must be fun to know you're working on something that's a little bigger than you.
It is. It's a big deal, actually, because like we were saying, I started in fashion, and I'll always love fashion, but at the end of the day, it's nice to do something that you feel like is actually really helping people and changing the way that we communicate with each other. We're moving from not just being consumers anymore to being sharers, and that's exciting.
And you're doing it yourself. I mean, you and your partner, I mean, it doesn't take a Fortune 500 company, right? It just takes a young person like you and a website and getting some expertise to help develop that. And I mean, they're powerful words when you say that you're doing something you think is important in the world. I mean, how many people getting out of your school can say that?
I hope everybody, I hope everyone's trying, right?
We all try. And to me, I'm sure you're working harder now than if you had a normal job in the fashion industry. You do what you're told and work extra. Now you must be thinking about this 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah. When you set your own hours, you tend, at least I find that means that you're just working all the time.
Right. But to me, there's nothing better in life than to give. So you have something that you feel you could give as hard as you possibly can, because you don't have to go to meetings to figure it out or worry about the politics of a large organization, because you're pouring your heart out every day.
It's true. It's an interesting way to put it. It's incredibly gratifying in that sense.
Yeah, and that's why it's not work. Everybody says, I want an easy job. Well, that's only for a job you hate. A job you love.
Yeah, that's not really a job, right? It's just something you do because you love it.
Exactly. No, and I think we are all artists like that in some way. And the trick is finding, what that art is. And if it's something a little bigger than you, man, like you found something that this is important to bring neighborhoods together. What could be better than that? I mean, you're like the Pope running around, right?
Oh man, I don't know.
But I mean, we all have different talents. So I mean, you're using your talents to something bigger than you, to make it happen. And that's why I think with the internet and stuff that's available now, for the average person is able to do it, like you, right?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. The internet has definitely enabled a lot of people to change the world, people that wouldn't have had the chance otherwise. So, the internet's interesting, right? We were saying how in one way, for a long time, it brought everyone so much further apart. Everything was anonymous. There's all this online bullying. But I think now we've turned a corner and we're using it to bring people closer together.
Yes. Well, we're figuring it out. Like people like you are figuring it out. How to get neighbors to share what they have, and to create a place for that. I mean, theoretically, you could do it, knock on all the doors and see who has a sewing machine, but... Yeah,
exactly. That's the thing is it's creating the platform to be able to communicate with one another, and that's what's important. Because otherwise, like you said, what are you going to do? Go door to door, flyer the neighborhood? I mean, it's too much work.
And you did it. Well, it's fun to see a young person like you starting out in their career with something that you really have your heart into, and could give the rest of us so much of yourself. you know, and share yourself like that, which I think there's not, it's sort of like a personal relationship. I mean, don't you want somebody you could just love the hell out of?
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, and it's definitely a lot easier to tell people about it. And you know, it's funny. It's like you use the term marketing, but I don't really feel that way.
Absolutely.
It's more like helping.
Absolutely.
And letting people in on.
I'm probably could be classified as one of the biggest hucksters in the United States, you know, with all my infomercials. But I do not consider any of that marketing. I could never be a salesman, I figure. You know, I feel it's education.
If you don't need it, I'm not going to sell it to you.
Exactly, right. It's education.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, and that's when I said that to my wife once, had dinner with friends, and she looked at me. I said, I don't sell. I mean, graduating from college like you, I said, I could never be a salesman. That's just the worst thing in the book. And now, but no, this is not selling. If you find something that's in your heart, then your mission in life is to get that to people in any reasonable way. Yeah, and it's not selling.
Yeah,
the people who are convincing you that who you really don't need it are or the salesman.
Yeah, exactly. You take some of that stuff that you, I guess, were sold and put it up.
Right, exactly. Now, this is a way to get rid of some of that guilt for buying that stuff you really didn't need and getting more use out of it in the community. Right. Well, it's nice to talk philosophy with you, Noah, and I'm glad you're there doing it and sharing your heart with the rest of us, because that will now, at least I feel, I know this will really happen in a big way for you because your heart's in it. Everything's a pain in the ass in life, so the only way to get through the hard part is to have your heart in it. You know.
That's so true. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Take it. Oh, wait a minute. Let's some people. Rentable.com. Here to go to salesman again. Rentable, rentable.com, and put in Rentabeta, Rentabeta. Right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Noah. Talk to you soon. Well, actually, I hope not. We've done this 3 times. How would you like to get a free home security system? That's right, free. You know, you see these ads for these security systems. They want like hundreds of dollars a month or whatever, big installation fees. No, this guy will give you a free app. You download the app for an iPhone or Android or whatever, and then you find an old tablet or an iPhone or an Android phone that you don't use anymore, and you set that up at home, you know, and then your phone will act as a security system. With this app in both devices, they'll sense movement. So if somebody moves around, or you could just watch your dog at home, you know, hey, how's Fido doing in the kitchen there, or whatever. Or actually, you could talk to Fido. You see him there. Hey, how you doing, Fido? Yeah. And it's all free. And actually, see, it's a motion detector too. That's the important thing. So if something, you know, like you want to set one in a separate room and you don't want the dog to go in there, you know, and then maybe it'll just, you'll be at work and then your phone will announce that, hey, Fido's in that room you didn't want him to get into. Or actually, I had a good thing. My boy just put in a good garden out in the backyard. It's about, you know, half of our backyard now is fresh fruits and vegetables. And where we live, we have deer coming in. So what we're planning on doing is we have an old iPad, you know, we're going to set up on the porch if the deer come in, so our iPhone will know, we'll get a message because it'll be the movement of a deer in the backyard will notify us. We'll come out, have to shoot the deer away, but save our veggies and fruits and things like that. I mean, technology. This is called the Internet of Things. You know, IoT, Internet of Things, a big thing in the, you know, in the country, in the world that's going on. Everything can be connected with everything, you know? And these things, he has gadgets now. If you want to upgrade, like your window, so if the window opens, you will know if that window is open. You know, if there's water in the basement or something, if the water gets it senses that. The humidity is too much, you know, it senses that and will notify. You can get notified for anything. You get notified if it's who's at the door and what they're trying to do at the door, and you can be at work, you know, and not even be at the door, and you see what's going on. I mean, this is it. But this, the beginning device that you could use very practically, and practical applications, where it's your baby room, or you just want to be nosy on your on your kids, anything that anywhere there's the internet, you'll be connected and be able to watch that, and it's a motion detector. And that's the most important thing. But more importantly, you have to start realizing that the internet will make it so much easier for us to control things that we don't need people for anymore. That's why robotics are going to rule the world. Well, they're not really, but more and more things can be that. If somebody's standing guard over there, might as well have a phone with a sensor than a person, right? So it'll relieve us of a lot of drudgery, And now with the internet and the cost going down, more and more of our life is going to be like this, So get used to it. And this guy knows what he's talking about. He just sold his last business for like $160 million. And what he's doing now, so he's got $160 million from his last business. He's going on the internet and getting free money, the crowdfunding, to start his new business. That's how good this crowdfunding is. Whether you're rich or poor or anything, people want to use this to start their new businesses. So that's another thing you have to start learning how to do. So watch this interview. Well, Gene Wang, but it's W-A-N-G, Wang. But more importantly, it's presentpro.com. And you are a remarkable person, Gene, but you know that. But I don't know if people know that. I mean, this is your fourth serial entrepreneur, company you're doing, which is phenomenal. I mean, I've read about the Internet of Things for the last couple of years now, and you have a simple iPhone device and a few other gadgets that puts it all together. You're going to put everybody else out of business who thinks about the Internet of Things, because you got it all in one little package, and people could start now for free, can't they?
Exactly. The price is right. It's a huge area, and people want to use their smartphones for everything. And what we want to do is extend their power and their control into the Internet of Things.
Right. And if people don't realize that, I mean, it's really, we can monitor so much in life. I mean, your little gadget now, through your phone, will be able to see who's at the door, find out if a light goes on, see if the kid comes home from school, if someone's drinking your good whiskey, almost anything. Like now we're worried about, we have deer where we live, and we just started a backyard garden. So, man, we want to get the deer out soon. So we could put one of our old iPhones, and that's what it does. You take old iPhones you're not using, or they could be Androids or whatever, and they become part of your Internet of Things, right? And then if something moves out there, you're alerted. Bang, 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 bang. Oops, something's going on.
You're absolutely right, Matthew. Yeah, we turn your old iPhone or your Android phone into a free Wi-Fi security camera with built-in motion detection and video alerts. And it's completely free to get going on. And then, what I would do is I would protect your garden by just setting up your old, we also work on iPads and, iPod touches.
Wow. So I could just tape an old iPhone to the the porch back here, and when you're saying it alerts that it's not continually streaming, only when something moves, then you get a notice that something is going on. It's not there all the time, only when something happens. So in your video on Indiegogo, you have a wonderful video where mom is at work, downtown working, and she could see her child coming home, because that's when the click goes on and the door opens and she sees all that.
Exactly. Yeah, we're trying to make it so that from your smartphone, you can really stay in touch with the people and the things and your pets and maybe elderly relatives and, what you value the most, and put it all onto your mobile phone.
So we don't need, that device they sell. I've fallen and I can't get up, Or we don't need those, whether it's like $100 a month security systems that people are selling now too.
Yeah, I got into this, Matthew, because my mother was actually burglarized twice.
Wow.
She started feeling afraid of being home alone.
I see.
And, I love my mother dearly, but actually I don't want her to move into my house.
A good caveat, yeah.
and I just decided to buy her a security system
I see.
for second burglary. And so we looked around, and these things are like $1,800 up front and
I know.
$48 a month.
How much a month?
Well, the one that we picked was $48 a month.
Wow, so 1,800 by $2,000, and then you're paying another $500 a year or whatever, or 600. Wow, that's forever. You get married.
So I figured, at People Power that we would do a lot better
Yeah.
by, converting all of these old devices that you still have, a lot of power in them,
Yeah.
great cameras, great processors, and just turn them into something really useful.
Well, I think what's unique about you is that your last business that you told me ahead of time, I guess, you sold for like $160 million to HP, but that was a company called Bitcom that you were the guys that invented, for your iPhones and everybody else to really manage all the junk inside of their phone, right? To update it and everything. So you guys know phones better than anybody else. Because I go on like Indiegogo and all these people have little apps for Internet of Things, but they're only like working one thing. You know how to work 1,000 things at one time.
Yeah, my last company actually made its way into 300 million smartphones. So
300
we,
million.
yeah.
Gosh, that's one for every person in the United States. What a sale.
Very well. We did have a great exit to HP, as you mentioned, but then we kind of got tired of working at HP, so we reunited at Power. And I guess about 12 of the original uh, members, mostly on the technical side,
Right.
are now at People Power, and we're really reimagining how you can not just use old smartphones, but we have this great ability to connect all different kinds of
Right.
devices, not just phones. Think little sensors like this, smart plugs like this.
Yeah.
You're able to control them all from your phone.
But this new venture, you went to the government to get a lot of this money to start, huh?
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have been working in the Altigy area, and
Uh-huh.
we have this really popular app called Presence Pro Energy. And
Ah.
Presence Pro Energy allows people to save money by cutting their energy waste. And we were able, Matthew, as you mentioned, we won not one but two
Dude, yeah.
small business innovation research grants.
That's
Um,
amazing.
the first one was 150,000, but the second one was $1 million.
Wow! Wow, that's terrific. Well, you have the phone holder there, that little robot guy. Show people how that works.
Do yeah. So we have this little remote
Uh-huh.
control robot, and what I can do is I can start out by just turning this device right here into a camera.
Ah,
So
right,
now you can see that I can see my hand.
right. So anywhere but you can control the vision angle from your phone, huh?
That's right. So what I can do is I can come over here on my other
Uh-huh.
phone, and I can connect I can see whatever this
I see.
camera,
Right.
this phone is seeing on the phone in my hand,
Uh-huh.
and now
Ah, I see. It's there.
if I actually just
Oh, so you're moving. Now you see Lesko, right? Yeah. Wow, that's terrific. Ah, that's terrific.
make sure everything's okay. So
Well,
this Galileo robot, and it costs $99 on the Presence store.
uh-huh. Well, even if you don't, I mean, you could use that app and the two phones without a robot, right?
Yeah.
So you could get the app for free on either the Apple Store or the Android Store. Get it, take your old phone, and then you have that motion sector, and you try that for a while to see if you need the other gears where opening the windows or it's turning on light switches and alarms and all this kind of stuff that is fun and to play with it for free. But I think people should go to the Indiegogo site. They could get to that by going to presencepro.com. Then you can link to Indiegogo to see that video there if you have. And you guys are rocking the world on Indiegogo like you're the highest high-tech product ever or whatever. The amount of money you made is terrific. But to see the video, because that really explains it so well in my mind. And it's so nice to have smart and nice people, not smart, obnoxious people. You know how some, but it's nice, humble people that are smart and do stuff that help the lives of the rest of us, so much better. Yeah. Well, wonderful to have you, Gene, and thank you for working on this. And it's Presence Pro, PRESENCEPRO.com. I flunked English in college. That's why I spell things for the rest of us dummies. Make sure.
Hey, thank you, Matthew. And for all of you budding entrepreneurs out there, let me just wrap up with one word of advice, which is go for it.
Absolutely, man. Look at if he could get $1 million+ for the government do it, and then go out and get tens and tens of thousands of dollars on Indiegogo and crowdfunding and starting new ventures and keep doing it. There's no reason that it doesn't have to be that big. It could be little. You don't need $1 million. Maybe just a couple tens of thousands, 100,000. It's there, right? Well, thank you so much, Gene. Best of luck to you, and I hope you keep doing this long time.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Sai-Jian, do you know that? That's about my limit. Thank you, Gene. Take care.